This presentation covers the week number 4 sample program of the GreetingsDemo Project in Progress version 2. This version of the program helps demonstrate encapsulation and information hiding, the bouncer at the door principle, this is to protect the object's variables, and the control structures of looping and selection. Here are the significant GreetingsDemo 2 additions that we will be looking at. The first is that we've added a controller method inside the Greetings class called runGreeting. This allows us to have all of the action controlled by the class. The GreetingsDemo becomes a driver program file that just instantiates an object and then calls the runGreeting method. The second significant feature is that we've split the user selection input method apart from the user name input. So now there are 2 individual methods, one for each of these parts of the program. This is a good idea because we want our methods to do one thing only and do it well. It also allows us to implement item number 3, where we add a loop to allow the user to run this program as many times as they like before exiting. The fourth significant input is that in order to run this many times, we need to allow the user a way to stop the program. And so we've added a new selection of 0 as an option to exit the program. And finally, we demonstrate the bouncer at the door principle. We want to validate the user selection, make sure that it's in the right range of values, 0 through 5, so that the rest of our code can just be built upon the assumption that the selection has valid information in it. Let's take a look at that code. Here is the GreetingsDemo 2 project. We're looking at the driver file, GreetingsDemo02, where main is. That will always be our driver now. Notice there is a little bit of a change here. The responsibility for all the class actions now reside inside the Greetings02 Java class. We only declare a Greetings02 object, its name is hi, and then we use that object to call the runGreeting method. Let's run the program and see how this works. I'll type my name, and my first selection will be 5, Swahili. Habari, Anita. And now you see I get a prompt to enter another selection or 0 to exit. This time I'll select 4 for Hindi. Namaste, Anita. And now I will exit by entering 0. The program says goodbye, Anita, and then is finished. Let's take a look at the changes to the Greetings02 class. As discussed in the PowerPoint part of this presentation, we see the changes being made are that a controller method has been added, the runGreeting method, and we called that from the GreetingsDemo. The 0 option has been added for exit. We're going to validate the user selection, add a loop to allow the user to run the program as many times as they like. Here is the runGreeting method that's been added as the controller of the program from within the Greetings02.java class. Public void runGreeting calls the getUsername method. The getUsername just asks the user to enter their name and then accepts it and stores it in the class variable username. After we've done that part, we see that the language selection method and the giveGreeting method are now inside a do-while loop. I've selected a do-while because we're going to run this at least one time. Give them the options of the languages or 0 as an option to exit. Then based on that input, we will give our greeting, and as long as the selection was not 0, we'll repeat this. So we see the use of the do-while when we know that whatever is inside the loop body is going to be run at least one time. Scrolling down to the language selection, we see the prompt with the choices listed with the 0 exit the program option added. Before we get their input now, you'll see another use of the do while. Do while is a very good loop choice for validating user input. You present the user with the prompt, you accept their input, and then you validate it. So in the while, we check, was the selection within the right range? If it's not within the right range, then we want to repeat the loop. Now, this is the bouncer at the door principle. We're checking the user's input before we send it off to anywhere else in the program to be processed. Think about it. If you owned a bar, where would you put the bouncer? At the front door. And that's what we're doing here. We're not going to allow our program to accept any bad input. We're not letting the rowdy guy into our establishment. If we had the bouncer at the bar, well, then the rowdy guy can kind of mess things up inside our establishment. And that's exactly what we're trying to prevent. The only valid entries for selection are 0 through 5. So by guarding right here, the rest of our program then can assume that the entry inside selection is valid, that it's 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And we don't have to worry about anything other than those values if we put the bouncer at the door. Let's take a look at the give greeting. The only changes here in our selection statement of switch is that we've added case 0. If the user decides it's time to exit, we assign hello the string value goodbye. So that will be what we say to them when they select 0 to exit the program. Let's run the program again and try to pick out these changes based on the code we've just looked at. Some of them are visible and others not. Now this time, to demonstrate our bouncer at the door principle, I am going to type in the number 8. We see there is no option for 8. The program just reprompts me to enter 0 through 5. And it doesn't matter how many times I enter invalid numbers, it is going to continue to prompt me for a valid response. I'll exit. Let's just look at the GreetingsDemo 02 one more time. All I want to do in my main is just declare the object and call its method for controlling the program. This is a good object-oriented style that we will be adopting for the rest of the semester. Happy coding!